developer advocate at solution. So previous to this, I was working in Blackbird as head of DevOps and QA. Just in case if you don't know where is Blackbird, just in front of this road, that's Blackbird office. Okay. So I was also working with HCL in Australia for a big enterprise, helping them in terms of building big data projects. Again, it was more from the DevOps, building ground up DevOps for them. And most of my career was with IBM India Software Labs. Like I was a developer there and I developed some of these Ansibles kind of thing, what we use in VMware APIs and other stuff for the ESX servers. So that's me. Apart from this, the way the culture is here, I also like cooking and I love traveling. I enjoy traveling and I've been most of the places, almost apart from Africa, I've been to most of the places in the world. So that's me. Before I start the session, right? So I just wanted to get a quick check from everyone that how many of you know already what is serverless and all those stuff? Because I was told that it has already been done here, so I don't want to go deep dive into what serverless is, what is it, and why why you should be using serverless, what are the use cases of serverless, because I don't want to get into that discussion. If quick check, how many of you know? Cool, then this is much easier for me. Good. So I'll skip a few slides. Of course, I had these slides before, so I'll quickly move towards functions. Why these functions? And we also know all these things. This is a single function, so I just don't want to do that. But why, the word of serverless is getting so much of importance is because of the Docker and Kubernetes and why it is getting into that. Because how Docker and Kubernetes has changed the way we do serverless, right? And we will see that. I'll do a complete demo of it, and we will build one function, and we will deploy that function, and also we will see how the auto-scaling works in the world of Kubernetes with OpenFaaS. Okay. So just to give introduction to OpenFaaS, OpenFaaS is a framework. It's a framework to build your functions and serverless computing. And the one stands out. What stands out in OpenFaaS is the use of Kubernetes and support for Docker and Docker Swarm, and also building Prometheus alert systems and Watchdog as a HTTP server, where you can use Watchdog as one of the HTTP servers to get your function API gateways to access it. So basically, this is the basic things, components of OpenFaaS, and I don't want to get into too details of architecture and other things, because all these things are available as a wonderful content in the documentation. So I'll give you the link so you can go ahead and take a look at it. But I'm just going to talk about what are the main components of it and how these main components put together, how we can build a new things. Okay. So this is one of the architectures. I'm sorry. We are still working on the right architecture for this. OpenFaaS team should work on it. So basically, if you see, there's no light in this.
There is one button on top. Yeah, it's the
Oops. Okay. Anyways, so there is a gateway here, and once you get into the gateway, obviously there is two types. One is I'm just talking from the Kubernetes perspective. So there is Docker Swarm support as well. So you can use Docker Swarm as well. So there if you go into the Kubernetes, obviously you have secrets and pods which you can create. So and there is watchdog functions. So each function is coming up with a watchdog that is HTTP servers on top of it, and that itself is backend of that is having the Docker images. Okay. So basically, this is a simple function you write, and the function is getting deployed on top of Watchdog, and then there is the images are getting built, and once you build it and deploy it, it will be deployed. But that is using the Kubernetes as a tool to deploy the functions. Okay. And the most important thing about OpenFaaS is that its integrations with Prometheus, because it has an alert manager inbuilt, and if there is something you are running as a part of there is a lot of traffic coming into your application, a lot of traffic coming into your function. The Prometheus alert manager actually scales up the function, and there is a replication kicks in, and we'll see how it works and how the automatic replication increases and how it gets deployed into all the nodes of Kubernetes, and then it terminates all the pods when the traffic comes down. And I will do the complete demo. So this is a basic thing, and I will not get into the lot of other things which is there in terms of architecture, and of course we have a different thing called as OpenFaaS Cloud, which can be managed, and also you can host it on your own. We have the server is available where you can log in and use directly on the cloud, or you can use the OpenFaaS with your on-prem OpenFaaS cloud. You can build your own cloud with your users and other things. So we will see that. I will touch upon that in a later stage. So all these things I will anyways repeat with a lot of concepts and other things while doing the demo. But one other thing which I wanted to show was the auto scaling stuff which OpenFaaS has, where the function, it gives you a good Grafana already built dashboard is available, and you can install the dashboard, and you can see these dashboard, right? You can see number of requests coming in, and there is function rate and replications which is happening for a particular function, and then you can see the duration of that specific function being running. We'll see all this stuff, but I'm just giving you a just an overview for you guys to understand all this. So let me just go and deep dive into how you can do it, and we'll build it. We'll deploy a function, new function, and we'll see how auto scaling works in Kubernetes. Okay, I'll just do it from here. So in case you guys have any questions, just ask me. Okay. So OpenFaaS is it's a framework to build a function. So build not just function, you can actually build microservices as well. If you orchestrate it properly, you can build microservices as well. So basically there are various frameworks like Fission. Fission is also one of the framework, and OpenFaaS is one of the framework. Iron is there. There is one more framework. So there is it's like basically there is a framework there, and you can use this framework to build your own serverless system. So instead of using Lambda, so if you're using AWS, or instead of using Azure functions, if you want to control yourself, what to do with the backend and all those stuff, you can use this function. These kind of frameworks, and this is one of the frameworks.
Does it mandate a particular architecture? Like for example, you have the HTTP now.
Sorry.
So the OpenFaaS, does it mandate the use of HTTP or dog or any such things from an architectural point of view?
So that's the beauty of OpenFaaS, that it has support for Docker Smart. That means Docker is available, and it has support for Kubernetes, and it has templates, which I want to show you. It has support to all the languages which is there, and Vivek is one of the person who wrote Java template, right? So he's here, so you can ask him how exactly it is that. But the MRA or any other support which is there.
So there are support for different orchestration platforms like Swarm and Kubernetes inbuilt, and people have written for Nomad. Nomad is one from Alsicop, and other is Fargate, AWS Fargate. So we have support for this target as well. And people are writing for different organizations platforms.
So quite a good community. The reason behind me, at least, learning about OpenFaaS was quite a good community, and it's pretty fast. And they have a Slack channel, so you can log into the Slack channel and directly discuss with the the founder. He himself actually speaks about all these things, and we actually tried to do our own meetup, and he was one of them who actually attended that meetup and talked about OpenFaaS itself. So there is candy for questions. So, yeah.
How does open source differentiate from any other frameworks that we use?
See, let me give you an example. So I was at, I don't want to name any of the conference, it's called serverless. It's basically specific to serverless conference. And they had a game, okay, for attendees. They had a game and they went and deployed on Amazon laptop, and they opened the game for everyone, and the game was used like heavily, and a lot of people from China, everywhere, they just used this game link, and the cost of that was pretty high on laptop. They had to pay somewhere around $7,000 or something. So it's very difficult if you don't have controls, and very difficult if you don't have log management and an open log management, which is like cloud native stuff, right? So if you're using the cloud. So if you see this, the components of OpenFaaS, there is, it's a cloud native stuff. The Prometheus is cloud native, Kubernetes is cloud native, and NATS, which we are using for streaming, that's the streaming at the back end to manage the stream, is also cloud native. So the point of users, where it is all cloud native stuff, and it is all open source, and you have all the tools which is being built today for cloud native. And like for example, there is open metrics which is coming, there is open tracing which is coming. So if you want to trace these functions, trace these requests one by one, then there is the open tracing you can use it. That is either you can use with OpenFaaS very easily. Similarly, open metrics which is coming from cloud native, that also you can use it with OpenFaaS. So that is one of the things. So if you use more of open source tools, you get a lot of other tools to manage these tools. Otherwise, you will have to end up using the cloud launches and other things, and you will have to orchestrate that. That is one. The cost is pretty high in other, other services. It's not simple. When you start, it's fine. When you scale, it's cost, and you will have anyways control it. And to reduce the cost and other things, OpenFaaS and open source will be better.
So we can install OpenFaaS on any platform where Docker is.
Yeah, pretty much. So that we will see. I will do the complete flow. In fact, you can see that you can run the complete stuff.
Just last question. The watchdog you just mentioned, is it any open cloud technology or it's custom?
It's just a HTTP server. So
it's a HTTP server written in Go. It goes with every function instance. What it does is it takes the input, HTTP input, pass it to STD and static input, and then invoke the function, and then takes the output from the output and convert it as a HTTP response.
That's right. So I just told you that I just don't want to get into the very specific components, how it works and other things, because that becomes more of the architecture's thing. I want to do complete hands-on to show you guys how exactly it works, And rest of the things you can figure out through our documentation. It's pretty neatly written and it's pretty easy to understand. Okay, so let me, we'll start with creating a Kubernetes cluster itself. I don't know. Is it fine? No, not visible now.
Now we have to climb up. During break we can do. Just zoom one more bit and then
Is it fine? Okay. So anyways, I'm just creating a server just to access the Kubernetes. So basically I'm doing this in DigitalOcean because I have access to DigitalOcean. Okay. So I'm just creating a cluster in DigitalOcean. So this is pretty new launch. I'm selecting Bangalore. I'll make sure I select optimized and some plan. I think this is enough. And there is 2 nodes which I am creating just for so this is something just I'm just creating the Kubernetes. You want to know what is this? How to do this? Create a Kubernetes server. Okay. Cool. So okay, this is Kubernetes works like this. This is a master. I'm hoping everybody knows Kubernetes. If you know.
I think he wants to know what exactly you're creating now.
I'm just creating a Kubernetes cluster. And there is 2 things, okay. There is a dev server. So basically you will understand when I do that. So I'll just give you a overview.
The
Anyways.
reason is as architects we want to block diagrams.
I forgot that. I'm used to doing this to developers. Okay, so we have, see basically there is an access, there is a development machine. Okay, there is a development machine you have. And how do you do, say there is a Kubernetes cluster. So I'm not talking about the nodes which it has, it is a master node. There is nodes for this cluster. So I'm going to create both servers. Okay, and I'm going to deploy the complete OpenFaaS onto this Kubernetes cluster, and on this dev machine, I'm going to deploy a function. I'm going to write a function. I'm going to write a simple code, and let's write a function, and then we will deploy that function to Kubernetes cluster. Of course, when I'm deploying it onto Kubernetes cluster, I can access the OpenFaaS and other things. So even before, at the step of deploying the OpenFaaS, I'm going to deploy Prometheus, Grafana, and other things, so that we can do the demo in a proper shape. So I'm going to deploy everything, all the components, and then I write a function. I deploy it to OpenFaaS, and then I will show you how this auto scaling, that is replication and invoke happens, and we will run few like 1,000, 2,000 requests, and we will see how this auto scaling happen. And we can also see in Kubernetes how these pods within these 2 nodes which I'm trying to create, it will get created, and then it gets increased on these machines, and then you can once you stop the request which is going on to the server, how this request will come down. The termination of this pod will happen, the life cycle of this pod. So this is kind of an example to show you. Of course, I'll show you the Prometheus and Grafana, how it exactly looks and how you can read from that, specifically for this particular function which we are going to invoke more number of times. Okay, so this is pretty much will be the demo. So what I'm trying to create now is create this cluster for you and this one, and then we will do the rest of the steps and we'll go through each one. So I'm doing primitive one. This is basically because what happens is, if I come here and tell you this Kubernetes cluster there, people won't really relate to it. I'm just showing you how exactly it creates and how you set up your server, and then you set you do rest of these steps to get to this one and we want to get into. Okay. Any other question? Before I jump into the rest. Are you ready? Cool. So basically I'm creating a pool of node here. Okay. So I've just selected the latest Kubernetes and creating 2 nodes. It's pretty simple. Just click on it, create, it gets created within 2 minutes. Let me go to droplet. We created one already. So is it visible? So I'm just logging into my server, and what I'll do is, while the Kubernetes is getting, while it is being created, it is getting provisioned. So while it is provisioning, I'll show you how you can install the kubectl itself on the server. I'm just having few steps to install kubectl. So I'm just giving you this step because you need to install kubectl onto your server to access the Kubernetes cluster. So I'm just showing you how you can install it if you are creating for the first time. Sorry. Okay. It's pretty simple. I have a few commands here, so not to worry. So all these things are available online, so you don't really need to copy it. So I've installed kubectl, but it doesn't work unless and until cool. So we have Kubernetes cluster already being created. So now I'll download the config. Cool. I need to continue and stuff. Okay. I'm copying. Okay. It's demo to the server which we had, which is the access from store. So there is contributors contributing some of the functions, and there's a lot of functions being contributed where you can easily use these functions for your day-to-day activities and other things. You can also contribute to these functions if you are more interested in that. So I'm just going to get one function which is called node and deploy this. Okay, so node gets deployed. That you need to fix. The UI, it doesn't fit. Okay, so if you see the function, there is a replication there. This part, you can see the number 1 for replication. So currently, by default in OpenFaaS, there will be one replication. Okay, just keep this in mind. Okay, by default, it will be one replication. Okay, and there is invocation count is 0, which is this part. There is no invocation here. And this is the URL for your function. So if you want to access this function, this is hosted on the API gateway, and you can see that why I'm calling it as API gateway, because it's hosted on the IP address and port 3112. Okay, where we just did that gateway service which was there, right? And the image for this function is available. Obviously, this is on the Docker hub where we are pulling it from. Okay, so this, if I just invoke this, right? So it will show you request. What is the request and response? So it's just trying to tell you which kind of box I'm using. So this function is written to just give the information of the box on which we are running. So it's just the node information which we are running this particular function on. So basically, if you see now, there is one replication. There is invoke count is 1. Okay, so this is where you can see the replications happening, the invocation count is happening, and what is the output of that invocation. So if you are a GUI guy, this is where you're going to use it much. But if you are more of a CLI guy, you can see it in from the CLI, CLI commands and other things. So let me just install Grafana and show you. I'm installing Grafana, so don't worry about the command which I'm running. So let's focus on the output of the things. So I've just installed Grafana onto the OpenFaaS namespace. So now Grafana is also on the node port. So if you see that, there is Grafana which is on the node port, and there is Prometheus which is on the node port. That means both of them are accessible outside the cluster, and we'll copy this. So that's one of the things about Kubernetes is you can access any of the cluster and you will be able to reach the Grafana. Right? So I'm just logging into the Grafana. And since we already have the support for it, so you guys can see this. It's a pattern. Okay, then we did one invocation, and and you guys can see this particular part, where there is a function rate which is there, and if there was no replications, so there was only one replications, and execution duration is pretty less, so it doesn't show up much. So we'll see that when we do auto scaling, we'll see graph point, and we'll see what happens in this graph. So if I just want to show you again, let us invoke 2-3 times. Okay, there was 10 invocations which happened, and we'll see Grafana. So you can see this. It is showing you the function rate and other things. So that's the one thing. So it's already been inbuilt. So it was so easy for me to just create a Kubernetes cluster, just almost like 10-15 minutes back, and just deploy all these servers, and you can see the replications and happening everything. Okay, and Prometheus is also available. So let's see what's on Prometheus. Okay. But this is not yet ready to be deployed onto the server. So we need to make sure, we need to edit the fast CLI for deployment. So let me show you one example. So just like all other latest things which is going on in today's world, from technology perspective, OpenFaaS is also heavily YAML driven, YAML declarative driven. So if you are familiar with Kubernetes, you almost orchestrate everything using YAMLs, right? So that's similar to that. If you're pretty understanding this whole thing, which wherever you want to add some of the configurations for OpenFaaS, like the maximum replications you want, minimum replications you want. Right now I've done a default replication, that is one where you can actually set few of the replications in different, in your own project, for your own function. You can actually provide all the information in these YAMLs. Not this YAML specifically, but I'll show you on another YAML when we create a new function. There also you can provide those things. So I'm just giving the Kubernetes gateway path. There was a default path which is for local development, but I'm giving Kubernetes path so that we can deploy the few of these functions there. Not some of the inbuilt functions, in fact. So templates is the most something going on. All right. Cool. So this is the templates. So basically you can create functions in these many languages. Okay? There is support for these many languages. If you want to do it in Python 3, if you want to do it in Python, PHP support is there. Java support, Vivek is here. He wrote it. So, Docker, if you have a Docker file, you can use the Docker file. If you have Go, you can use Go. So basically, you can use any of these templates to create a function, which I'm going to show you. Before we do that, let's go create this function. I'm creating a Python 3. I'm using a simple Python 3 function. You can see this FaaS new which language I want to create, and I'll give this a name. Hello System Software Architects Team. Prefix Sridhar. So this is nothing but my Docker Hub account. Okay, that's my ID for Docker Hub. So I'm just prefixing it with it. Okay. So I'm just going to create. So every time you create a new thing, it will also download the templates for a specific things. Okay. So there is folders which it will create. That is 3 folders. Forget about the fastnet. Fastnet was for installing the Kubernetes operator, Kubernetes connectors and operators. But for rest of the things, there are 3 things. One is templates, and one YAML and one folder. Okay. So this is for a specific Python 3, which language which I am writing this for. If you go for Go, if you do for Node.js, there will be completely different. We can see that as well. That's it. Easy. So I created. So this will be completely different, because if you go into this now, hello something, and see, there will be different structure in it. Okay, this is the it is giving you Go handle. Sorry, Go file. So if I give you open this Go file, this is specific to Go. Okay, I show you Python 3 now, but this is specific to Go. Okay, so it gives you handles in .go, but for Python 3, so it is 2 different things, requirement.txt and there is handle.py. Okay, so there is 2 different things, right? There is requirement.py for your requirement.txt is for installing your packages and other things, which is very specific to Python. And if I choose to Go as my language, then there is specific things coming for that. So let me just open the handle. Just write some code. Just saving that code. If I want something in requirement, I'll add that in requirement.txt and I'll come here, but this is not yet ready because you need to add the gateway details here. So then if you see, this is the YAML file, which is you are submitting a job for building and deploying and pushing it to Docker Hub or image registry and other stuff. So if you see this YAML, I'll just go through a few things. One is obviously name and gateway. You can define the name you want to. And there is a gateway which we have to change because we are using Kubernetes. So I'll just go and change the gateway. Okay, so there is a function. This is the handler. That is the path to the directory which was there. In the directory we created that handle plus py, right? We added that code like hello Vivek. So similar to that, this is the path to the directory where you have the code. Okay, and the image is nothing but either you can have your private Docker registry or you can give information about your Docker account. There is no Docker install on this. So obviously you need a Docker to run these builds and push it to your Docker image registry and then use the function which I have written. Right? So I'm just installing the Docker. I'm sorry for most of the things being not ready because yesterday I was at TechSpark doing the very different kind of demo. So I had to delete few stuff, install few stuff for that. So till now any questions? Until it installs.
So while we are deploying the functions to OpenFaaS, is there a way to orchestrate all these functions? Like, say suppose I want to set some, like, okay, these functions should be isolated from this kind of functions. Just like in creating VNet, if I want to isolate some function, like these functions should perform together, how to set up the network rules, like which functions or which function?
So basically you can do that orchestrations. There is a complex way of doing it. If you go to the OpenFaaS,
so when we are orchestrating,
yes, in this YAML, the YAML which is there, right, you can create, right now I showed you only one function. You can add more functions to that YAML. As I told you, it's a YAML file. So you can orchestrate things on that YAML file the way you want to orchestrate and deploy it into Kubernetes. So it understands when you build, it understands the structure which you are giving and then deploy it to server.
So now at this point of time, mostly it's YAML driven.
It's YAML driven, and of course functions are independent. You build in functions independently. So all the functions are independent. Okay, function 1, 2, 3, 4 and n is independent. You can you can say that these functions will be here in one of the YAML. And if you want which function calling another function and other things, then you can orchestrate within the code.
Okay.
Within the code which I showed you.
So there is a project called OpenFaaS Cloud where you can manage your functions with GitHub. So we have created OpenFaaS Cloud where we applied GitOps principle, where you push your code to master run as one of your functions and have a webhook and it will deploy to OpenFaaS Cloud. So you don't need to write these YAML files or apply YAML files. You just push it to cluster and then it will deploy.
This question was orchestrating functions with interactions between functions.
No, see, I am looking for a straightforward framework to integrate. So, suppose for system integrators like us, we do not want to build everything on our own. Like if there is a ready-made open source framework or a commercial framework available to orchestrate function on OpenFaaS, then it will be easy for us. So that's what I was looking for.
See, basically there is no PaaS. No, you need to build your own PaaS. It's like, for all things there is no PaaS. If there is something which is specific to your problem you are solving, then you will have to build your own PaaS. These frameworks will give you kind of things where you can integrate with each other. So ultimately all these things are having interacting with HTTP. So basically you can build this. So it's like even if you're talking about system integration, I have a UI and I want to integrate all these functions onto one UI, and I could do that through AngularJS or React.js. I can call each of these functions for specific usage. So that is possible. And if you want to run all set of functions together, then that is also possible through these YAML files and other things. So ultimately, even in Kubernetes and other things, it's all about writing the YAML right. getting that YAML right, getting that architecture right from the YAML perspective.
Suppose for an implementation, like if I am implementing an IoT platform on, like I am implementing each age.
Can I take this after the session, because I'm looking at the time and it's look like I'm going to take a lot of time more. Okay, so I'll come back to you. We'll catch up. So I almost forgot where I was. Okay, so basically we have not built this. This was SE, and we changed the in YAML we get provide the gateway details for communities. It is building it and it is deploying it to communities. No, it's not deploying, it's just building Docker. Okay. So it will take some time, because since we are doing it for the first time, it is actually installing the watchdog binaries and other things on top of the function which we have built for running the service.
Does it support HTTP2?
The watchdog.
Basically, connect to Kubernetes.
Kubernetes, Kubernetes does support HTTP2, but what my question, your question could, from the functions perspective, watchdog does support, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. We'll have to figure it out. So now I'm going to push this YAML to my Docker Hub account. I'm pushing this image. Oh. I did not log in. So basically I'm pushing this to Docker Hub, and we'll see, spend time on pushing stuff. Let me deploy this. Oh, it's a good catch. Nice, thanks. So I'll set this up as well for auto-scaling test. Okay, let's have a graph. Okay, we have pushed it. I'm just going to deploy this function, whichever we just built. So basically when you do build, obviously there is a build folder also being created. So all the builds which you create, it gets into that build folder. So obviously there is templates, there is rest of the things which we already discussed. So there is deploy, then it's YAML, it's got deployed. So now this function got deployed on OpenFaaS. Okay, so let me go back to the OpenFaaS. So if you see this, it's got deployed. Okay, so now there is a URL for me, and this is my image. Yes, can you see this? Okay, there is image, there is URL, there is replication, there is invocation. So if I click on this invoke, it did say hello Vivek, and then now invocation count and replication counts all set. We created this function, everything is ready, and you can use this URL and orchestrate in your code to run stuff. And so basically, one of the best use case for serverless is is the asynchronous batch processing and other things, right? So now if you have a batch processing, you can keep running this whenever you have a lot of workloads and other things in the backend, and it has obviously inbuilt NAT service to make sure that all the request which comes in, a NAT stream is available, which is one of the cloud native thing where it makes sure that each request which is coming in is taken care at the other end. Okay, so we have done this deployment. We have Grafana which is working, and we have Prometheus which we have just executed a system where we can see the graph, and there is obviously consoles and other things. So all I'm going to do is to run so we're going to invoke the same function. So basically I'm going to run this function which is there, that is node info, which we just deployed. We already seen what it is. So I'm going to run it in loop. We'll run 1000 and we'll see how replication increases and how pod gets created, and when I stop this function, how pod gets terminated. So this is all inbuilt. This is something running through Prometheus alert managers, and already there is an alert. I'll show you in Prometheus there is an alert tab where you can see what is the default thing which we have set up. So once I run this, so you can see the difference, how exactly it auto scales, and you can control the scale. Okay. So that is the beauty of Kubernetes, Docker, OpenFaaS working together. So let me connect to the server which I had. So these are the pods which is running as of now. Two functions is running in these two different pods. Okay. So let me keep this command before I run that. So now it's just kick-started the invocation. So this is going to keep going unless and until I stop it. Okay. So let me go back to portal. So we can see there is invocation count which is growing, right? The invocation count is growing, and if you see this particular, the Grafana, the invocation count is just growing. And there is, if you see OpenFaaS, replication has grown to 4 here, right? And obviously Prometheus will start showing you a few things, and it is obvious, this is where it is started to show you fire more pods in the Kubernetes to get status, get the replication growing. Okay, let me go back to this. So you can see, it's just creating more containers. So it was so simple for me to build a simple function. I don't even know, I did not even use a Docker file. I did not even create a Docker file. I just wrote my Python 3 code, right? Python 3 simple code. So if you are a developer who loves writing code in Java, you can write in Java. If you are a developer who likes to write in Go, you can write in Go. And once you write in different languages, the function, the code is converted into Docker file, and then it is being deployed. Okay, so you are not doing anything. You're just installing Docker and writing the code and say fast build, fast deploy, and it's getting deployed. And when there is a lot of traffic which is coming into your system, you can see there is containers being generated and it's been running. So now it's growing. Since that still our code is running, so it keeps growing until it is 20. So by default it is 20. So again, as I told you, the YAML file which I wrote for this particular function, that's where you can give maximum and minimum controls of your application. So this is something which is very similar to how in AWS or Azure functions where you can control your levers. Similarly, you are controlling those levers and with very less cost. And there is inbuilt already Prometheus is running. There is already Grafana which is ready for you to check it out. And obviously you can have a support for Agers and log management systems and everything. You can use it with these functions. So it has grown. It's growing and growing and growing. So let us do one thing now. Let's go and
How many nodes are there? You
Two
listed
nodes.
the pods, two
Two
nodes.
nodes. I just listed the pods, not the nodes. Nodes will be again. That will be part of Kubernetes auto-scaling, node scaling and node down scaling. But that is Kubernetes part. And you can't set this with this. It's,
OpenFaaS UI you don't have it.
no. That is Kubernetes specific. So you need that. Again, you can build that. There is a wonderful, I think there is a blog post on that. There is a nice blog post how you can use Kubernetes node auto-scaling with OpenFaaS.
Now the other namespace, can you just list them?
Yeah.
OpenFaaS.
This one?
This no change.
This will not be a change. So this is just the services which is running for OpenFaaS. So that's why I created two namespace, one for functions, the other for the services which
All the
we
requests will still come through the gateway, right?
get. Yeah. Gateway is the main thing which is outside. Rest of the things are all inside.
But that might also need to scale at some point. Gateway.
Yes. In production, yes. In production, there is a lot of other things. So since we stopped, all the things stopped. So now I used only two nodes to do 1,000 requests. More than 1,000 requests was invoked. And in Kubernetes, if you are using all those things like auto-scaling of your node, auto-scaling of the rest of the things, and if you're using Prometheus and log management and other things, you can easily manage these functions, right? So in production, I'm talking about. Okay, so this was my demo actually. I wanted to show all these capabilities of OpenFaaS. And let me go back. So obviously there is a workshop, OpenFaaS workshop which I showed you, the one which you were asking, right? So I did lab one and some stuff, but it's a quite extensive workshop on OpenFaaS where you can integrate functions, how you can build it with front end with functions and other things, which HTMLs and other things. There's a nice, quite a good workshop, and again, OpenFaaS.com has a good documentation, and the one one which I showed you, like Kubernetes and other things, of course there is, if you even have an account today on Divo, you won't have it because that's a beta version. So if you want access, you can request access in that location so that it's easy for you to get started. So you can go through most of these things. And I'll wait for 2 minutes if somebody is taking it.
We'll be sharing all the slides on the Meetup.
Okay. Yes.
Specific to the OpenFaaS platform, like framework coupled together with the runtime, can I take the templates and deploy it into the other vendors like AWS or GCP?
No.
It's tightly coupled.
See, basically this is nothing but a, when I showed you builds, right? There's a container build and I am deploying it into my image. So once I deploy it to my Docker Hub, you can definitely take that image and deploy it anywhere. So what I'm talking about is there's an image which I built and you can deploy that image. But again, I'm not too sure on how compatible it will be and other stuff. But I've not done that before, but it would be a really good exercise for you to go back and try that out and probably write a blog about it, whether that can be possible, But this is similar to that build is going to the Docker Hub. Once the build is done, that is an image. So once the image is ready, you can definitely use it. In my perspective, it can be used in any of the container environment.
With respect to AWS and GCP function as a service, normally we don't create an image altogether for the functions. Whatever the functions that we write, we directly write in the editor or some inline kind of a thing, where it is like, it doesn't reveal like exactly how it is run at the runtime.
Correct. So similar to the same thing, the OpenFaaS Cloud does the same thing. OpenFaaS Cloud has the same thing. I did not show you the OpenFaaS Cloud because I don't have the setup. Unfortunately, I could not get the setup up and running for myself. The OpenFaaS Cloud has that capability. Like you don't really need, you just need to submit your function and I think it will go through the GitHub and directly go to the functions installed. And that function, the OpenFaaS Cloud, you can do it in-house and you can manage users on top of that. And again, it is in two formats. Like you can have your own physical OpenFaaS Cloud where for your own team, or you can use the OpenFaaS Cloud, which is as a platform as a service which they provide. That is possible. What happens in AWS is also similar, same thing. Okay, the architecture is same. Even if you submit a Lambda function, at the backend they create a Docker image and then they deploy it. So the flow is the same. The only thing is you're seeing the flow controlled here. There it is abstracted because it's a collab from us.
Latency from the time the request comes, how long it takes to launch the function?
So I just showed you that in Prometheus it's available. It's 5 seconds or how much? 20. In the Prometheus, right? Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot this. So there is a matrix which is there. So this is the matrix. So I request response, but time I did not mention. So time is available for each function which runs.
I'm looking for low-level metric. When it hits the whatever the Kubernetes engine, that latency we are looking for. Because if I have to compare this against AWS, how quickly can AWS service?
So you're talking about the replications? Or
Not replication. I get the request, but I pay AWS. How
okay.
quickly I can spin up the Docker? You said that every function request will invoke the Docker.
Yeah, so spinning up the Docker is something. So this is about you develop something and you build something and you push it to a Docker hub, and from that Docker hub you deployed it. Once the function is deployed, you see that there is replication 1. That means it is always available. 1 is available. So if you compare with this with AWS, in AWS Lambda, what happens is it's all on 1. It's there is a Docker warm and hot states, right? It is not 1. So it is at the stealth mode. When you hit AWS gateway, then it spins up the Docker image and then it starts. But here, it starts with 1. And the very important thing for you to note here is you can control those things as well. Like you can say minimum I need 3, I need 4, I need 5 images running, 5 pods running in Kubernetes for this particular function.
But in that case, DigitalOcean, you are now running this on DigitalOcean. Will they be charging even if the function is not being called?
For
Let's say you always have one replica, right? Will it get charged even though the function is not being called?
this function is not called, it won't be charged for the function specific, it will be charged for the node. For the node. For the Kubernetes node, it will be charged, but not for the function. But again, see, if you are using this in the Kubernetes world, then definitely you need to pay for that Kubernetes cluster. And if you're using it where you're not using these Kubernetes on your own, and you're using their own Lambda things which is there, obviously they are also using the backend as Docker and Kubernetes which is there, and the charge is the same thing. If you compare the cost and other things, it will be the same. It might be even less here when compared to that.
You might have to do some analysis.
Those are analysis.
There, typically only when it is called, it is charged based on the number of calls.
But that number of calls increases, the cost goes like, you can't control the cost itself. Yeah, so here you can, the cost remains the same. And even if you have more applications and more nodes you can add with less cost. And if you see the pricing, especially the DigitalOcean, I'm just talking about DigitalOcean. Pricing wise, it's like you can start with a node with a $5 and you can keep adding with $5 nodes. You can create under $5 nodes as well.
So I have a more fundamental question. Since serverless is all about abstracting away all the headache of managing servers, why even bother with this? Because you can just deploy microservices.
Correct.
Because anyway it is going to get charged. You are running the Kubernetes servers.
Correct. So, so one of the thing is you want to have your own control. So basically, if you are in, I don't know, I interact with a lot of customers today, and my 70% of my work is with people who are using AWS, people who are using other stuff. So if you talk to these customers, or if you talk to the CTOs, right, they call that, I was running PaaS, but I want to move out of PaaS because I don't have control. Because you don't really get control. I'm using Prometheus, which is, I have so many things I can build on this. There's a community which is there, which is building a lot of stuff on this. And there is, I'm using apps, streaming, which community is using and community is building. You can convert this OpenFaaS into your own requirement. You can add a code to it and make use.
To your point about control, but I can do all that control in a microservices world. Why go to function as a service?
As I told you, you can use OpenFaaS for microservices. If you orchestrate it
There are
very
so many tools out there for microservices.
I mean, it's, see,
I can use OpenShift, Kubernetes.
Yeah. See, it's again, and I'm not evangelizing like you should not be using Lambda. I'm not talking in various.
I have to cut this down. That's more of a
It's okay.
philosophical question, so which we can take during the break.
Sure.
Let's,
So, to give you an overview, there are tools, and people use these tools in different, requirements. So today, for a company or a startup, small startup, they would like to have control, cost controlled, and the way they want to use it, better way and other stuff. So they might use this. Somebody who is like a bigger company like Flipkart or other things, they don't really care about this. They want to have Lambda and other things to be used. So there are different customers, different people, different startups. The requirements are different.
So again, to answer your question, there are two things. One is like enterprise who runs their own data center. They don't want to run their code or something on the AWS or something like Azure Cloud. So they can use OpenFaaS to build a serverless platform on their own data center. And other thing is vendor locking. So when you are using AWS or GCP, you are locked into particular vendor.